Yes, I do say that every woman is working woman. Every space a woman occupies becomes a working space somehow or the other. Either either she's doing it, or it's like something that people are asking or expecting her to do it. When you said cyclical, right? What most people hear when they hear this is that, oh, they're not stable.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not going to be productive the entire month round. That's not what cyclical means.
Yes.
When you're looking at the science and the data, right? Science and like market data and performance data is from work, you will realize that no, women are productive the same amount of time, the same amount of productiveness from a work point of view as their counterparts of different other genders. So the cyclical could be, it's definitely physical, it also is emotional and all of that, but at the end of the day, the work doesn't suffer. That's what people definitely do need to first realize.
Hello, welcome. I'm Sanjukta Sharma. Today I'm talking women's mental health and mental health at the workplace with Dr Sayeda Ruksheda. She is a Mumbai-based psychiatrist and counsellor who works out of the Trellis Family Centre, and she is also the president of the Bombay Psychiatric Society. Now, Dr. Sayeda's work beyond the practice also includes advocacy work when it comes to women's mental health, psychiatric care, and also she has spoken about mental health at the workplace. Let's delve into the conversation. Thank you so much, Dr. Sayeda, for your time. Let me delve in with something very basic. Okay, what would an ideal workplace where there is good mental health practice looks like to you? What is that place?
So when we start thinking of a workplace, right, we need to start thinking of every kind of workspace, whether that's the workspace that I might be providing or whether that's a workplace that I'm employed in. So when I think from that point of view, it becomes a little clearer for me to see what should be and what shouldn't be. It starts with collecting a number of people who have the same spirit as you in terms of investing in your own mental health, so that they can also contribute to the mental health of the firm, the company, the workspace. Because without everybody's cooperation, it's not really going to work out. So it starts with that. Having said that, how do we get there, right? So the first thing is the hiring process. How good or bad the hiring process was, because that's going to be my first impression that, oh, the interview process wasn't so great. So, how invested or attached do I feel and invested do I feel in this company? Also, what biases I may have felt during the interview process will also kind of preset my mind in a way, isn't it? That this is what I'm going to look at. So I don't want to enter a workspace with a defensive attitude. So it starts from the hiring process, and it also, a lot of it depends on representation. If I see people like me around me in different positions, that makes me feel more at home. That makes me feel safer. That makes me feel, oh, in case there is an issue, I'll be okay. So that itself, like setting the atmosphere, the setting of it is very, very important. Other aspect of it is definitely understanding that at the end of the day, if you're a business and you want to make profit, you're not going to be able to do that if you don't have productivity. And if you're not going to have productivity unless and until you have happy and satisfied employees. So for that, you definitely have to go and be the right kind of boss. So when the boss has the right attitude towards mental health, and I'm not suggesting that every boss has to understand mental health beyond the basics. Having said that, the basics are something that everybody needs to know. But if you're in a leadership position and if you lack some kind of understanding or empathy, then you're not going to be a good, effective leader to begin with. And when you also are understanding of what policies exist and how to implement them without getting scared of them. That's again one very essential part of creating that healthy atmosphere and that, frankly, a normal workspace.
A normal workspace. So more often than not, doctor, we end up in places where often we are not aligned in every way, right? And it's a tough job market. People are desperate for jobs. People are taking any job they get. So what are the signs we should be looking for where we see that work stress at work, unpleasant at working environment is affecting us? Because sometimes those symptoms just go unnoticed until you reach a stage where it has sort of reached, maybe clinical proportions, right? So what should we be looking out for as employees, as bosses, and when do we sort of realize, yes, it's time to take some steps?
That's a very good question, because you want to figure out before you're burning out. Once you start burning out, then the process becomes like a desperate clutch at health and wellness. So to begin with, you have to have an understanding of what you want your life to look like, right? And also what is possible for your life to be like. If I can't cut down on my commute, I cannot cut down on my commute. What most people don't understand is, unfortunately in India, is that my work time also includes the commute hours, right? And in urban setups, especially like big urban setups like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, that commute is a huge task. By the time I reach work, I'm already either exhausted, irritated, and both.
Yes.
So I do definitely need to factor in, and that's why me creating that balance for myself is important, right? One of the first things we tell people is sleep well, because without an adequate amount of sleep, no matter how great of a work team you have, you're not really going to be able to be productive or even feel happy about it. So taking care of basic requirements like sleep, which may, because they're so basic, people might kind of compromise on them. And that's the one thing that you cannot, because hello, it's basic, right? So if you're sleeping well, right, you're a little bit more, it's more possible for you to withstand the physical strains and the mental demands of the work. If you take care of yourself in terms of finding that balance, that I want to enjoy my work and I also want to come back home and enjoy my home, whether that home is family, whether that home is I have a social outing today, or something else maybe. So when I want to enjoy both of them, I'm going to work towards it better, right? I'm going to do one thing at a time so that I can do 10 things in a day. That's what I always tell people. I want to do one thing at a time because I want to do 10 things in a day. So when I'm at work, I'm going to definitely see to it that I'm not multitasking. I'm batching at work, right? I'm not multitasking that, I'm like doing my work, I'm also checking my social media notification, then I'm doing my work, then I'm looking at what my family WhatsApp group is saying, then I'm working, and then I'm doing something else. So that's not something that I want to do. Not because, I want to be the ideal employee, that may or may not be part of my ambition, but I definitely want to be a happier person at the end of my workday. And that's only going to be possible if I'm not exhausted. So those are things that you can already do to take care of yourself in terms of having a good life. Now, what you can start noticing, if you see all of these things in you or your loved one or a colleague, these are so-called red flags, right? That they might seem a little different. They're okay one day, moody the other day. They could be working very, very well, but very distracted the next day. So they can have these swings of behavior, of emotions and moods. You could have difficulty sleeping, falling asleep, or waking up multiple times in the night, or not feeling rested, or not having adequate amount of sleep. So that's another hallmark feature of you not doing well. So when you divide it into, what are my physical symptoms? Sleep, appetite, weight, hair loss, right? Aches and pains, migraines, and all of that. What are my emotional symptoms like mood swings and irritability and everything? What are my psychological symptoms that I feel hopeless maybe, or I feel worthless maybe, or I'm not getting, even if people are validating me, I'm not really receiving it well. What are my cognitive symptoms? I can't focus, I get distracted, I don't remember stuff. What are my relational symptoms? I'm having fights with people at home, or I'm having road rage. So all of these things, if you see that these are happening more often than not, and in spite of you trying to kind of like maybe take care of it, it's really not getting manageable, that's when you need to start worrying, am I heading towards burnout, or am I already burning out?
Right. Okay. Recently I heard you speak at a women's health conference at IIT Mumbai, and you said something that really stayed with me. You said the workplace for women, I'm talking specifically about women now, is not just an office. For a woman, a workplace is where she is, where she's there, where she's taking care of people, nurturing, working. So specifically when it comes to women, I want to ask you, I am also myself experienced as a boss, as an employee. We work in very male places, in the sense that it's got military deadlines, a very narrowed down way of thinking. You meet targets, you meet goals, and accordingly. While women, we are cyclical, right? We are cyclical, we have hormonal changes. So specifically for women, doctor, what would you say employers and offices can keep in mind, and women themselves can do to juggle that much, or to sort of find the right environment for all these things to come together and still focus?
Well, like you said, yes, I do say that every woman is working woman, every space a woman occupies becomes a working space somehow or the other. Either she's doing it, or it's like something that people are asking or expecting her to do it. When you said cyclical, right? What most people hear when they hear this is that, oh, they're not stable.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not going to be productive the entire month round. That's not what cyclical means.
Yes.
When you're looking at the science and the data, right? Science and like market data and performance data is from work, you will realize that no, women are productive the same amount of time, the same amount of productiveness from a work point of view as their counterparts of different other genders. So the cyclical could be, it's definitely physical, it also is emotional and all of that, but at the end of the day, the work doesn't suffer. That's what people definitely do need to first realize. Because it's very easy to just stereotype all women and that, oh, this is what happens because, is it that time of the month again? So when we talk about cyclical things, because when a man has a bad day, he has a bad day. When a woman has a bad day, oh, it's cyclical. So we definitely don't want to look at it like that.
Okay.
Yes, we really want people to understand that having women in the workspace, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter, has been there since a very, very long period of time, precisely because what they can contribute, others can't. And also, with the way the world is running, you cannot not have women in the workspace as well, whether you talk about social, economically, whichever ways you look at it. So you'll have women in the workspace and you see women, and don't be gender blind. Because if you're blind to anything, then you are not looking at what people might require to adjust the level the playing field, so to say. So women definitely require some amount of flexibility, not just because of the cyclical mode, but also because of their life and the social constructs around women. So if there are flexible work modes, whether those are timings, whether those are days, whether those are childcare, whether that is period leave, whether that's maternity leave, all of these things are important. Because when I have all of that, I'm more secure. I don't feel as if, oh my God, what do I do if I need a period leave? Oh, what do I do if I need maternity leave? So when I'm not scared, I'm contributing more. I'm happier to be here. I take less and less leave.
Do you think there should be mandatory government sanctioned menstrual leave for women?
I definitely think the time for us to have menstrual leave is here. I am all for period leaves for the simple reason it doesn't mean that if I have period leave, I am going to take it, right? But I definitely need to know I have the choice. Women's rights has always been about having choices, which women have, but they're not allowed. So when I know that I have a choice, I may or may not take it, right? And of course, there's going to be like a certain amount of days that you get off, and on those days, what can you do? Is it half day, or is it full day? Is it work from home, or is it not? And how, that way. So it's not as if women are asking for a free ride, not at all. So when I know that, okay, yes, I don't need to worry about it. I'm not going to have to, think about what my boss is going to say, right? And every woman is different. I may have terrible period pains, and somebody else might have had no pain at all throughout their entire reproductive age group. I may have endometriosis without even knowing. I may have a lot of different reasons for period pains, which people tend to then, like, it's very easy for people, everybody, women including, to tell other women, suck it up, so to say, right? And we cannot.
Told us.
Yes. So yes, they have also gone through certain amount of difficulties and discomfort, agree. And no, every woman is not going to just start taking, becoming like a damsel in distress just because they have period pain. That's not how it works. But like I said, if I know that I have choices, and if I know that those choices are protected, and I know that nobody's going to resent me for taking those choices, making those choices, I'm definitely a happier person. And I'm definitely a more productive and contributing person. So when I'm looking at all of those things, the numbers match up. And that's what people need to understand. You don't need to get scared. The numbers definitely match up. Nobody's going to lose out on, oh, I have to work more if she's on a period leave. Oh, I have to work more if she's on maternity leave. Or, oh, the company is going to go through like a deficit if, people are not there. It doesn't work like that. So when you actually, so the companies, if they have some fear, they should do the math.
Yeah.
And then they will be a little bit more assured that, oh, this actually doesn't really turn out to be much worse than the usual, right? And so to create that kind of, like I said, women definitely require understanding of certain challenges that they might have in life. They definitely need more empathy, and they definitely need security, and they definitely need choices.
One of the things that I personally and many women I know find challenging is to sort of extend this idea of self-love, self-care and mental well-being into their family and their community. Because if it doesn't embrace others in your life, that well-being may be meaningless, especially for women, right? So what would you say we can do to sort of extend our practices and wellness, and how easily can we do this? Say, supposing I hire a help at my home to look after my child. How can I ensure her wellness is important, because her wellness will contribute to my wellness?
Sure.
So how to build communities of good mental health practice, and especially in government sectors, any thoughts on that?
Women helping women out, very easy. We've been doing that for centuries and centuries.
And often enemies too. Women are women's enemies as well.
Women are very good about taking care of themselves when they're told how to do it, right? If they're given the information, and if they're given the means, they'll take care of themselves. Because women are smart. We know that if I don't take care of myself, I'm not going to be able to contribute to housework or office work or any of that, right? And so we are very good about taking care of ourselves. If we are told that this is what you're supposed to be doing, this is how you can take care of yourself. Also, women are good about sharing information. They're good with community building. So a woman will speak to another woman, okay, this is what you do, this is what you do. So self-care is definitely something that's very important for women. A, women have to be given information about it. B, women have to be given access to it. 3, women have to be given freedom for it, right? Even if I know that yes, self-care, self-love is so important, but if I'm not getting allowed to do that, that becomes more frustrating and depressing for me. And I'm using the word depressing and not sad, because that definitely contributes to the depressive symptoms. And we know that women are more subjected, are more number of women are suffering from depressive and anxiety disorders than their counterpart in other genders. So we know that like if you're teaching young girls how to take care of themselves mentally, physically, financially, that's really going to contribute a lot towards their social well-being as well as their health well-being. Simple small little things about at home, like when there is a chore, maybe I should just start looking at whoever is around instead of whoever, what gender they are, or who might even listen to me, right? Oh, she won't listen, so let me tell her. Right. Because that's generally what happens again, right? Yeah. And we definitely don't want to be not as supportive to our boys, right? I want my boys to have life skills, same as my girls. I want my boys to know how to drive a car, cook a meal, wash their clothes, know that they should be, particular about hygiene, and definitely all of those. I want my boys to know about consent, right? A lot of the times boys also feel that they don't have a voice because they're not taught. Now, even now, we are telling the boys how to ask for consent, but we're not teaching them how to give consent. So when you're, again, like I said, equaling the behavior towards other people, you're definitely going to see that change across different sectors of society. To tell women that because you want to take care of yourself, these are some early easy steps to do it in. They will do that. They will incorporate that in their daily life, whether you talk about nutrition, whether you talk about fitness, whether you talk about education, whether you talk about work. And they are eager to share that information because it's, like I said, they're community builders and they're nurturers, and so they will see to it that others benefit from it as well. So it's very, very easy to help women take care of themselves. We just have to have the motivation to do it, and like I say, most of the times, just simply get out of the way and women will do it themselves. Don't worry about it.
So last, doctor, I want to ask you, now we have a lot of Instagram wokeism, right? Where we're talking a lot about mental health. People are using mental health terms very casually, and people have something to say about mental health. As a practitioner, as somebody who engages with community, realistically, how much change have you seen after the pandemic? Do you really feel there's awareness and people, women, coming forward to take help to address mental health issues?
That's a very good point, because yes, the pandemic did help in terms of making mental health and psychiatric care a everyday term in people's lives. So that's huge plus from such a tragic event. As far as social media consumption is concerned, many women do use it more than men. So definitely there's more consumption of information about everything. Having said that, yes, there's always a downfall of so much of information overload, but there is definitely a better understanding or better awareness. I wouldn't say understanding maybe, but better awareness that something like this exists and something like this is important. And it's not only just about what your social life, what your life events are like, it goes beyond that. Having said that, we definitely also want to be sure that the information that we are getting, is it accurate? Who's actually saying all of these things? Is that person qualified? Is this person rational? Is this person scientific? Is this person, are they getting paid to say this? For the simple reason, that always makes a difference, isn't it? When you trace the money, you recognize somebody's intentions, or in that sense. So those are definitely things that we want to teach even our young people, irrespective of gender, how to spot accurate, good information versus fake news or, propaganda maybe. So the same goes with health. And mental health definitely is the new bandwagon that everybody wants to jump on, and that makes it scarier because it is a place that is so easily manipulated. Because everybody is a stakeholder in mental health, right?
Yes.
We definitely understand the requirement for inclusivity, but that can also bring about a lot of potential dangerous pitfalls that we fall into. Previously, we only had probably faith healers to deal with. Now, like you said, there's a lot of wokeism. So we have a lot of influencers who, even if they may mean well, they may do more harm than good, right? And so they need to definitely have some kind of disclaimers that these are my personal opinions, or this is not a fact, or things like that. And what I tell people is that when you start like a POV of psychology says, that's what you need to stop it and don't really look into it, right? So you have many more sources of information. So a social media a reel or a meme could intrigue you, but you definitely need to go and read up a little bit more about it instead of only
by source,
following
you
them.
mean books, or actually going to meet a trained psychologist?
Well, whatever resources that you have in hand, right? If you want to, if you just gathering information, you don't necessarily need to meet a professional. You could go to legitimate sites of medical information, psychiatry information, and all of that. Or yes, definitely, if you have more pertinent questions that may be about yourself or a loved one, seeking professional help is very, very important, just to clear the cobwebs, so to speak. Get rid of that anxiety. Oh, do I need to look into it, or do I not need to look into it? How much do I need help? Do I need help to begin with? So having professional help for that is definitely important. Yes, every medical graduate should be able to help you with some basic information, but not every medical graduate is going to have the skills in every field of medicine. So they might have their limitations as well, and that's where like a friendly neighborhood general physician might not be as much help as a friendly neighborhood psychiatrist might.
Finally, 3 life hacks from you, because not everybody has access to psychiatric care. Sometimes our own attitude comes in the way of approaching a professional. 3 or 4 life hacks that you think we can practice to stay on top of our mental health.
I definitely start with sleeping well, or trying to sleep well, not creating sleep deficits, not leaving my sleep quota to get over on weekends. So sleep, exercise, very, very important part of taking care of your mental health, right? Because I always tell people that what's good for my body is good for my brain, is good for my mind, is good for my soul. The second thing is that definitely become more mental health literate. Understand more, what emotions and thoughts and behaviors are like, what you're capable of, what you're not capable of, what are different signs and symptoms to look for in case there is an issue, and what are the resources that you can, approach towards. The third most important thing is, like you said, definitely get over your own biases and stigma. If I need help, I need help. Whether that's reading glasses, or whether that's an antidepressant, or whether that's therapy. So to kind of get rid of that stigma, कि लोग क्या कहेंगे, is something that we definitely have to get over if you want to see to it that you evolve into a happier, healthier you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruksheda. This was really insightful. All the best for your work, and we hope to connect again soon.
Thank you so much.